Hey riders and racers, and welcome back for another live stream. Today's live stream is about the best energy drinks for a motocross race day and for an enduro race day as well. So I guess first of all, the point of using an energy drink or the outcome that you're looking for from having an energy drink is you want more energy, you want more stamina, more endurance, better concentration, pretty much all of the things that you need to be able to ride well and ride fast consistently. You're hoping that this energy drink or the thing that you're going to have is going to prolong those things or make them a lot better. So first of all, hey James, for me when I was racing, I was big on these things. So I used to struggle a lot with energy, with endurance, with stamina, with concentration. Hey Hayden. And also in the hotter weather, I really struggled in the warmer weather. Anything that was like 30, even 28 degrees plus, I'd really struggle with. I'd start getting headaches. I'd feel lethargic. I didn't really feel like eating any food. I felt like I was dehydrated, but I'd drink more water and still feel dehydrated. So I was always on the end of looking for solutions to try and feel better on race day. And unfortunately, I wasn't doing things to prevent the problems. I was doing things to fix the problems once I got them. So I used to drink a lot of Staminades and like Powerades, like hydration drinks on race day. I used to have energy bars, so like protein. I'd go like just Woolworths or Coles and get these protein energy bars that I'd have. I tried also the glucose tablets. You can buy these little glucose tablets. Hey Mick, you can get them from the chemist, which is pretty much just sugar in a little tablet. Used to mow them down on race day, especially towards the end of the day. There was a stage there where I was having, hey Nick, where I was having energy drinks. So I don't know how it happened, but I ended up having some type of support from an energy drink company. I think it was called Dark Dog, if I remember correctly. So I don't know where, I've never heard of that brand in my life. But anyway, we had a carton of these Dark Dogs, which was like little cans of Red Bull, really. Okay, but just obviously a different brand. So I had them for a period of time. What else did I try? That's probably about it. And then I'd eat a lot of takeaway foods, like on race day. Like it was absolutely ridiculous when I look at it now. I remember going to Adelaide. We raced at the Nationals in Adelaide one year, and there was a bakery there that was open in the morning. Wherever we were staying might have been 20 minutes or half hour from the track. And there was a bakery open there, and the only thing they had was pizza. Hey Matthew, the only thing they had in there was pizza. At the time that we were getting up, the guy would be in, the baker would be in there early making everything, and the bread wouldn't be ready, and there'd just be pizza there. So we had literally having pizza on the way to racing a national title. So that was me. That was majority of my riding and racing. That was my nutrition, and that was the different things that I tried to improve my performance. Um, so I'm just looking at my notes here because there was just a few things I wanted to cover. So the real thing that you need to look at with energy is when we're looking for energy, we're not necessarily looking for more energy. Okay, if we look at a whole race day, what we're looking at is consistent energy. So the way that you feel at the start of the day when you're fresh is the way that you'd like to feel for practice, for race one, race two, race three. And usually what happens as you keep going through a ride day or as you keep going through a race day, your nutrition doesn't stay consistent. Your nutrition starts to, or sorry, your energy doesn't stay consistent like this. Your energy starts to drop off. And so as we get towards lunchtime or, towards those later races of the day, especially for enduro, for motocross, when the track's getting really rough, is that's when you're looking for, okay, my energy's low. What do I do to pick it back up to get it back to normal? And so really that's what we're looking for. We're not looking for excessive levels of energy. We're just looking for the energy that we had at the start of the day that we've lost throughout the day, and we're trying to get that back. So the best way I have of explaining this is you want your energy levels to be like a thermostat, right? So like in an aircon. So like here in my office, I've got an aircon, right? I can set the aircon and say 22 degrees. And if the room starts to get warmer, starts to go up to 23 or 24 degrees, then it kicks in and it blows in hot air to bring the temperature back down. Okay, or no, sorry, brings in cold air to bring the temperature back down. Okay, if it starts to get up to 23, 24 degrees, sends out a whole heap of cold air, and that brings it back down to 22. Likewise, if it goes the opposite way, okay, if it drops down to 21 or to 20 degrees, hey Cody, blows in a whole heap of hot air to bring it back up to 22. And so really that's what we're doing with our energy on race day is we're just juggling, okay, is my energy too high, too low? How do I keep it how do I have a thermostat for my energy throughout the day so my energy stays like this throughout race day rather than going like this and just dropping through the floor as you get to the end of race day? So the way that you do that is you've got to focus on two things. You've got to focus on what can I do to get my energy up to a good level, and then what are the things I need to do to keep my energy at a good level. And what that means is how do I recover? How do I recover really quickly or really well or really efficiently to keep my energy consistent? So one side of the equation is when you're out riding or racing, the main fuel source that you're going to be using for a lot of you is going to be carbohydrates. Okay, so there's two different types of carbs. We got complex carbs and we got simple carbs. So complex carbs are high in starch. They take 3 to 4 hours roughly to break down and use as energy. Okay, so they're not very rapid in terms of giving you energy. So these are things like potatoes, sweet potatoes, brown rice, quinoa. It could even be like things like pastas and breads and things like that. So what when you've had them, right? Like if you have a whole heap of bread, you have a whole heap of pasta. You don't go, oh shit, I'm ready to go, right? You just go into this big, and they weigh you down. It's because they take so much energy to be able to break down. So we want to make sure that we have enough complex carbs in our system, or taking in enough complex carbs, because that's going to fill up your body with what's called glycogen. So glycogen is our stored energy, stored carbs in your body. And what your body can do is when your body needs those carbs or energy stores later on, so like when you go and race, then it's got those stores there that it can start to break down and use as energy as well. So what I do with our guys is the night before riding and 3 to 4 hours before their first ride of the day, we increase our complex carbs. So sweet potatoes, brown rice, quinoa, could be breads and pastas as well. We want to increase those, okay, and make sure we've got plenty of glycogen there ready to go for when we go and ride. The next type of carb is called simple carbs. So simple carbs are already broken down into sugar. Okay, complex carbs, pastas, breads, rices, pumpkins, all of those types of complex carbs are broken down into sugar eventually. It's just that it takes 3 to 4 hours to do that, or even a bit longer. So simple carbs are already broken down into sugar. So what that means is our body doesn't need to use any energy trying to break them down, and we get that energy straight away. So that's like when you have a handful in the vicinity of say 15 minutes up to half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour for this type of energy to be usable on the bike. So that's how we do simple carbs. So timing wise, what I do with our guys is roughly 45 minutes before every ride or race, you want to have some form of simple carbs. So it could be some fruit. That's a good option. Could use lollies. I don't recommend them. I'd recommend using using a carb drink or using fruit. And you want to have them roughly half hour, 45 minutes beforehand. So the next thing, so we want to make sure we've got our complex. Sorry, I was getting heaps of notifications pop up on my phone, which are distracting me and getting in front of the live stream. Once we've done our simple carbs and we've got them sorted, then we've maximized our energy component. We've done everything we could to elevate our energy and get it up to a good level. Now what our goal is we want to keep that energy at that level all the way through. Okay, so we've done the groundwork with our complex carbs. We've had our simple carbs before our first ride. We've got our energy up to where it needs to be. What we want to do is work on maintaining that all the way through race day now, or all the way through ride day. So the other end of this is after every ride, or if you're doing an enduro, for every fuel stop, we need to work on replenishing the carbs that we've lost and giving our body the nutrients it needs to help it rebuild itself. So we do this through carbs, simple carbs, and also through protein. So what our guys do is if it's motocross and they're doing, say, 20-minute motos, after every race, they'll be having a protein shake, preferably whey protein. This is the one that's going to be easily digested and used for recovery and is digested quickly or quicker than other proteins. So whey protein, and then if we mix that with some sort of carbs, so you can either have a piece of fruit, you can mix your protein shake with Powerade, mix your protein shake with coconut water, or mix it with a carb drink. And so what the carb drink will do is it does a couple of things. First of all, the carbohydrates will help to replenish the carbs that have been lost and that you've burnt through in your ride or in your race. If you're doing enduros and you're riding for like an hour at a time before you're having a stop, or an hour and a half, you can have roughly 30 to 45 grams of carbs, okay, for each stop, and roughly 15 grams of protein. If you're doing a motocross event and the moto is like say 20 minutes or half hour, then you just cut that in half, okay, because you're not burning through as much energy. So the first thing is we want to replenish the carbs that we've lost, and we also want to give your body protein so that it can start repairing itself and rebuilding which is going to help you, might not help you for the first race, because the first race you're probably going to be pretty fresh, the track's going to be relatively smooth. Where this is going to help you is at the end of the day. Okay, so everyone else is their energy slowly going down like this, and they probably don't notice it at the start. They probably notice it at lunchtime or after lunchtime. So what we want to do is do things at the start of the day when we don't really have to. That's going to set us up and make sure, hey Cody, make sure we're good to go at the end of the day. The other thing that the carbs and the protein does is it's also been shown to, when you mix carbs, simple carbs and protein together, improves protein synthesis. So what that means is how quickly your muscles can take in that protein and use it to start rebuilding and repairing itself. So that's why we pair those two together. So that's really the system for race day is simple carbs, half hour, let's say before first ride, and then simple carbs and protein after. Okay, and we're using that system throughout the whole day. If you're doing enduro, for every stop, that's what you're doing, protein and carbs. If you're doing motocross, again, protein and carbs after every ride or every race. And don't just limit this to your race days. Do this on your practice days, right? If you can ride longer and harder on your practice days, that means your riding's also going to get better a lot quicker as well. So to recap, we want to make sure that we treat your energy as a thermostat. Okay, we're going, what can we do to get my energy up to a reasonable level? And then what are the things I need to do to keep it at that level? Okay, hey Damien, exactly like a thermostat. Okay, what are the things we can do to keep that energy there? And the way that we do that is through focusing on carbs and energy, and then the other side focusing on protein and recovery. And we want to make sure that it's a juggling act between those two. We want to make sure we have both of those nailed. So with this, you want to make sure that you are prepared and organized. And that's where really a lot of riders and racers go wrong, is it sounds good in theory, or you listen to the video, okay, you might watch my other content, and you go, yeah, that sounds great, I need to do that. But then you have trouble actually implementing it on a ride day or race day. And the best way to implement it is you have to do the work on the day before. So if you're racing on a Saturday, it's the Friday and Saturday that you're really getting organized. Get all your shakes organized, get them all mixed up, get them all measured out, put them in different bottles. Go and buy 5 protein shakers or 5 different bottles if you need to make sure they're all ready to go, and you can just put them in your fridge or in your esky. And that way when race day comes, then you're ready to go. Okay, you don't want to be getting to race day and there's already enough things going on race day, right? You're trying to sort the bike out, you're trying to look at the track, probably socializing, let's just be honest. Other things going on. And there's even things that happen on race day that aren't planned. You get a flat tire, your bike shits itself, something happens and you have to, change a set of handlebars, whatever it is. And our mind, our focus gets taken off ourselves. So just make it really, really easy for yourself. Get all your carbs organized, get all your meals organized, get all your shakes organized beforehand. So when race day comes, there's literally no guesswork. It's already laid out for you. It's easier to do what you've already prepared than to try and go off track and do something else. So you want to make doing the right stuff easier than doing the wrong stuff. So if you would like some help boosting your race day nutrition, so you can ride harder, faster for a longer period of time, then you can apply for my motorsport development program. I will put the link for you guys below in the comments. It's just a quick application form. Ask you a bit about what you're working towards and what challenges you've had in getting there, and then I'll see if I can help or not. I'll just put that link below for you guys in the comments, and hopefully you found this YouTube video or Facebook video useful. Put it into action. Let me know how you go. Chat to you guys soon. See ya.